Alright, so let's just pick up from where we left off in the last part. So as you can see here, basically, let me just build a run so that we can have a clear vision on what we have accomplished in the last part. As you can see here, basically we added the header, the avatar, display name, username, bio, and basically the join date label. Before we proceed any further and add the following count and the followers count labels, I just need to add some modifications to the header that I have over here. Basically regarding the height of the header image, I'm just going to change that to 150. And let me just go back to my profile view controller, and here basically inside my view.load method, I'm just going to for now hide the navigation bar. So navigation controller.navigation bar is hidden, and basically that is going to be equals to true. However, if we did that and just return back to the home view controller, that's going to hide the navigation bar as well. So whenever we want to show again the home view controller, I'm just going to say view will appear method. Basically navigation controller dot navigation bar is hidden, and that is going to be equals to false. So basically it shows on this home view controller. And also for the navigation, basically for the profile tab table view, all right, so over here profile table view, I'm just going to set basically the content insert adjustments behavior basically to never. And what that does, let me just hit build and run, and let me tell you exactly what that does. Basically that ignores the safe area. So as you can see here, the image header basically is taking up all the screen behind it, and whenever we scroll down over here, you get to see that there is another error over here, which is basically the clock interacts or basically gets on top of the content. So basically we just need to fix that, and here's a really cool way for doing that. In the profile view controller, I'm just going to add another component. So let me just type private let status bar, and that is going to be a UI view. All right, so I forgot the equal sign. So basically let view, and that is going to be UI view, right? View the background color, I'm just going to set that to the system background color. So if it's night mode, it's black. If it's light mode, it's white. All right, and I'm just going to activate the constraints over here, so you just know the drill. Return view, and just call that anonymous method. All right, so basically I'm just going to add that over here, view.add some view status bar, and also I'm just going to add like a flag over here, which is basically going to be private var is status bar hidden. All right, that's going to be boolean, and if it's hidden right now, so that means true, it's going to be true for now. All right, and now what I need to do basically, I'm just gonna tell you. So yeah, basically in the extension for the profile view controller, I'm just going to say scroll view did scroll, and I'm just going to say let y position. All right, and that's going to be scroll view dot content offset dot y. Basically whenever we scroll up and down in the table view, basically we get the exact point of the y position. All right, and over here I'm just going to ask a simple question that says if y position is basically greater than I believe 150, so that means we have scrolled beneath our header image that we have just specified the height for in here, 150. All right, so if we pass that and the status bar was actually hidden, so basically we just need to do two things. First of all, the is status bar hidden, that should be equals to false, because we are actually going to show this this status bar, and I'm just going to do that with a little bit of an animation. So UI view dot animate with the duration of 0.3 seconds, delay 0, and curve linear for this. And for the animation, I'm just going to specify here weak self. I'm just going to capture it here, so self, and for that I'm just going to say basically if it's hidden over here, so that means basically that the view.layer, right, so dot opacity that should be equals to 0. So basically it's indeed hidden. Alright, so whenever we reach this point, I just need to say that the self.statusbar.layer.opacity should be equals to 1. Right now it's not hidden. And we can actually just forget about this. I don't need it. Alright, and here in the else, I'm just going to ask another question that says if y position is actually less than 0. So basically I have scrolled up on the top of the table view, and is status bar not hidden? So basically it is actually showing up. So basically I just need to copy this again. But before that, I'm just going to say is hidden bar, is status bar hidden? That should be equals to true. And basically, I'm just going to pass in here that, and I'm just going to set the opacity for 0 so that actually the status bar is hidden. And over here, I'm just going to initialize the height of this status bar. And yeah, so basically, let me just say status bar constraints, right? So basically status bar dot leading anchor, that is going to be constrained with the view dot leading anchor. All right, status bar dot top anchor constrained with the view dot top anchor as well. Status bar dot trailing anchor, that's going to be constrained with the trailing anchor of the view. And for the height anchor, this part is a little bit tricky, but I'm just going to explain whatever I'm doing right now. So basically, in the realm of iPhones, we have two types of iPhones, basically notchless iPhones and notch iPhones. The notchless iPhones like the iPhone 8, iPhone 8 Plus, and the notch iPhones like the iPhone 13, 12, 11, as you go down to iPhone 10. So how basically we can choose the status bar height basically based on which device is that. So let me just say status bar dot height anchor dot constraints, and basically we need to specify a value for the height of the status bar, which is basically we're going to ask a simple question. So view dot bounds dot height, and if that height is basically greater than 800, so basically this is pretty much whatever greater than the 800. So basically we're talking about the iPhone 13 mini, iPhone 12 mini. Basically this is going to be a notch iPhone, so we can specify the height of the status bar to be 40 points. If it's not greater than 800, so that means we're dealing with iPhone 8 Plus and iPhone 8, I guess. So let me just set that to 20, and I believe that should be it. So yeah, we just need to activate this. So status bar constraints, and let me see that in action. So as you can see here, basically we have taken basically advantage of the entire screen, and whenever we scroll, make sure to concentrate once we reach the height of the header image. As you can see here, basically the clock is no longer interfering with the content below it. As you can see here, we have this invisible status bar over here. I can't believe you can see it, and we can try that with the iPhone 8 Plus as well. So I believe this should also be working. However, the status bar height is going to be 20 instead of 40. So yeah, a light mode, I don't care. And as you can see here, yeah, basically it works both on both devices. And yeah, that looks great actually. So let me just close that iPhone 8, and let me just go back in the profile table view header and just add the missing labels and actions that we wanted to do in the previous part. So let me just do that. So let me just go up in here and add the following components. Let me just start by typing private let me just say following count label. And basically that should hold the actual number of the following that we have. So UI label, right? So let label should be UI label, all right? Label dot translates auto resizing mask to constraints, that should be false. label.text should be something like 314, which is basically, I guess, the following count that I have on my real account right now. So label.text color, and that should be label, right? Label.font, I'm gonna specify that to a system font of 14 and bold, and I'm just going to return that label. And let me just move down in here and add it to my view. So add subview, so following count label. And also we just need to, to make things really quick, we're just going to initialize all of our components and we just need to add them one by one. All right, so let me just go up in here. Let me just add this two parentheses over there. All right, so let me just start by typing private let following text label, which is basically the label that's going to hold the text following. All right, so UI label, and that should be let label UI label, label.translates auto resizing constraints equals to false, label.text should be following, label.text color should be secondary label. All right, so label.font, I'm just going to set that to 14 and regular and just return the label. So right now we just need to add the follower count label. So let me just do that up in here. So private let followers count label, that should be UI label as well. All right, so let label, all right, so let label is going to be UI label. Right, so basically that should be the same as the count label for this. So let me just copy that over here and just paste that down there. So we can just change the following to maybe, I don't know, 1 million, because sure, I have 1 million. And we can just do the same for the following private let followers text label, that should be UI label as well. All right, we can just copy that from here, okay, and change that to followers, and voila, we have it done. So right now, let's just add these components to our header view. So let me just move down in here. All right, so we have added the following count. Let's just add the following text label. All right, so it's not that, it's really tricky. Following text label, add some view, followers count label, and then followers text label. So let me just initialize the constraints for those, and let's just see it in action. So let me just move in down in here, and the first one I need to add is basically the following count label. So let me just do that. So following count label constraints. All right, please pay attention because this part is really tricky, because the followers, you might be prone to errors, so please concentrate and focus on this. All right, so basically I'm just going to add that to be aligned with the display name as well. So following count label dot leading anchor, constrain that to the display name label dot leading anchor, and that should go under the joint date. So following count label dot top anchor dot constraints, and that should be joined date label dot bottom anchor, and maybe we can add like 10 points. So let me just initialize that and activate that as well. So right, so in this layout, activate following count label constraints, and the other part is going to be the following text label. So following text label constraints, right, let, so following text label dot leading anchor dot constraints. So following text label dot leading anchor, that should be constrained with the trailing anchor of the count label. So constraints, right, so basically that should be following count label dot trailing anchor, maybe 4 points, and then I'm just going to align those on the same line. All right, so following text label dot bottom anchor, that should be constrained with the following count label dot bottom anchor as well. So let me just basically activate this constraint as well. So following text label constraint, I believe that's it. All right, so let's just add the other constraints for the labels for the followers. So let me just do that. So basically followers count, let me just see it. So followers count label constraints, right? So followers count label leading anchor, that should be constrained with the following text label trailing anchor. So following text label, all right, trailing anchor, I'm just going to add like 8 points, and basically I just need to have them on the same line. So followers, right, so let me just copy that. So followers count label dot bottom anchor, that should be constrained with the yes, that same one over here, following, right? So following count label dot bottom anchor, let me just activate that as well. So activate followers count, or basically that one, let me just copy that one, right? And the last one is going to be followers, right? So let me just copy it. So followers, instead of count, that is going to be text, right? So followers text label constraints, and that should be followers, right, text label dot leading anchor, that should be constrained like the same one over here, basically 4 points, right? So followers I believe count dot trailing anchor, and we are gonna add 4 points, and we're gonna have it basically assigned to the same bottom anchor of here. So followers text label, and that should be constrained by that. So bottom anchor dot should be constrained with the followers count label dot bottom anchor, and I believe I can just make that bottom anchor over here with the following as well. So following count label, so that we can just move one and the other is going to move with us. So basically followers text label bottom anchor constrained with the following label dot bottom anchor, and basically all of the 3 of those is basically going to be set to the I believe the bottom anchor of the following count label over there. So let me just copy that and ns layout, activate, and paste that in over here, and let's just cross our fingers that is going to work. We're testing on an iPhone 8. It's no big deal, and as you can see here, basically we have everything set up, the count text for the following and the followers respectively. And as you can see here, basically the status bar is as well activated. Let me just test that on my iPhone 13 Pro Max. Let me make sure everything is working. And as you can see here, basically, yes, we have it. So right now we can just add the actions for basically the header, so that we can actually move between the tweets and replies, medias and likes sections, because we're going to navigate and add this functionality to our table view in the future. So let's just add that. So let me just go back in here up in the top, and let me start by adding a new component over there. All right, so let me just go in here and define an array of buttons that we're going to be using. So tabs, basically it's just going to be an array of UI buttons. All right, and let's just set that to, and wait for it, basically an array of strings, and that seems kind of weird, but I will explain everything. So basically we just need to add, the first tab is going to be tweets, the other one is going to be tweets, right, tweets and replies, right, the third one is going to be media, and the fourth one is going to be likes. So basically we just need to map basically all of these because we're going to map all of these tabs strings to an actual buttons. So button title, and over here we are just going to set that to let button equals UI button, and for the type I'm just going to specify system, right? Button.set title for, basically I have the title over here, button title for normal. All right, and also I'm just going to say my button dot translates auto resizing mask into constraints, so that means I can use auto layout, right? And we can just return button, and because of that it's going to be happy because actually we have returned buttons instead of just strings. I just forgot the word var over there. So basically for each title of those I'm going to map it into a button, and this button is just going to be added to this UI button array. Simple as that. All right, so also I'm just going to say button dot title or title label dot font, and that should be system font, right? So size 16 maybe, and bold. I believe that's it. And for that, button dot tint color, and that should be, I believe, label. Yeah, that should be working. So right now I have 4 buttons array, so that we can actually use that to add into our stack. So what are the stack basically? Basically the stack is going to hold our button, it's going to expand, it's going to shrink, basically according to how many items I add this. So basically it just work as the normal auto layout. However, it's just going to specify the spacing automatically for me. I don't have to add that manually. So let me just add that component over here as well. So let me just say private lazy var, and I'm using the word lazy over here because I'm just saying I'm going to use like some of the attributes, or basically the properties of the view controller once it's initialized. However, at that moment it's not initialized. So I'm telling Swift basically that all of the properties I'm going to specify within that block of code is going to be available once the once this view is initialized. So let's say stack view, and that's going to be UI stack view. Actually, I'm going to change that to section stack. That makes sense. So let stack view is going to be UI stack view, right? And over here, I'm just going to say stack view dot arranged sub items. That should be tabs, which is basically the UI buttons that we have set over here. And we just need to provide the tabs, or basically the buttons that we have initialized earlier here. So as you can see here, there is an attribute which says arranged subviews, and that should be tabs. All right, stack view dot translates auto resizing mask equals to false. Stack view dot distribution, and that is going to be equal spacing. Stack view dot axis is going to be horizontal. So basically we're just going to align everything horizontally. All right, and for the stack alignment, we just need to have it in the center. So basically in the center of the stack. So basically that's the horizontal stack. I just need to add my buttons, not on the top, not on the bottom, but in the middle of the stack view. So over there, we can just return our stack view and go down here in the init method and add some view section stack over here. All right, so let's just move down here and configure the constraints for that section stack. So section stack constraints. All right, so let me just set that really quick. So section stack dot leading anchor, and that should be constrained with the leading anchor and a padding of 25 from the left. Right, section stack dot trailing anchor constraints to trailing anchor -25, so 25 with the other side, so in the opposite direction, so that's why we use the negative. Right, section stack dot followers, I believe, so I'm sorry, top anchor.constraint that with the followers count label, or basically following count label dot bottom anchor dot 5 points, and let's just specify the height of this to be like 35 points. So section stack dot height dot constraints to 35 points. And for you to see it, I'm just going to add like a background color just for now. So background color dot, I don't know, pink, system pink. And let me just activate this. So activate section stack constraints, and I'm gonna tell you what you're seeing right now. So as you can see here, basically we have a button that says tweets and replies, media, and likes. Let me just remove that ugly background really quick. All right, and over here you're gonna see that basically we have all of them initialized successfully and they look amazing. All right, so let's just create a function so that it can listen to whatever tab is being tapped over here, so tweets or tweets and replies. So let me just do that. So let me just go down in here, or basically somewhere here in the middle. So yeah, after the init, I'm just going to create a new function. So private func, and that function actually should be able to run in the runtime of Objective-C, so that we can refer to that basically from the buttons. So at Objective-C function did tap tab, right? And for here, I'm just going to say sender right UI button, right? So basically, whoever taps on this should be a UI button, right? And for now, I'm just going to say UI button dot, sender dot maybe title label, right? Text, and I'm just going to see basically which button is basically being tapped. So let's just create another function. So private func configure stack buttons, right? And let me just call that over here. All right, so let's just do for, and just that is going to be like an a tuple. So let me just say I am button, all right, in stack, or basically section stack dot arrange subviews dot enumerate. So basically right now we are looping through the arranged subviews inside the section stack, and here inside the I we're gonna have the index. We're gonna use that later, and the button itself. So for each button, I just want to add a target and basically specify this tap method for that. So guard let button is equals to button, right, as UI button, because the arranged subviews returns back UI views. It doesn't return specifically UI buttons, so we just need to cast that over here. Else we're just going to return, and as you can see here, this method doesn't have to return anything over there. So button dot add target is going to be self, selector is going to be did tap tab, and as you can see here, we can just add the action is just touch up inside. We're gonna be using this I later. For now, we can just add the underscore for silencing this error over there. So let me just build and run this, and let me see what do we get. So let me just go to my profile, tap on tweet. As you can see here, tweet and reply, right, media, and you get likes. So basically that should be working. Right now we just need to specify the index of the selected tab. So let me just do that really quick by adding another function. So let me just do that. All right, so basically let's just go up in here and create a new enum. So private enum, and that should be section tabs, and that should be also confirming to the string protocol. So case, right, tweets, that should have like an actual value of tweets, case tweets, and replies that should give us back this, right? For case media, that should give us back media. Case likes, that should give us back the likes. And you're gonna see why I'm doing this exactly, because whenever I'm tapping on any tab of this, I just need to assign like a selected index, which counts from 0 to 3, which is basically our 4 tabs over there, so that we can further process that number or that index to change the position of the layout that's going to hold multiple instances of this table view. So let me just say switch. I'm just going to switch on self, and whenever you have this value, we should just return 0, return 1, return 2, return return 3, and that should go inside a declaration. So var selected index, or maybe just index for short, and that should be an integer. And inside of here, I'm just going to add that block of code. So whenever I wanted to have like an index of tweets, I get 0. I want the index of tweets and replies, I get 1. And all right, so let me just add a new variable over here. So basically private var selected tab, and that should be an integer. I'm just going to set that for 0 for the moment. All right, so let's just go down in here to this function that we have created earlier. And basically the did tab, I'm just going to say guard let label, and that should be sender dot title label dot text, else I'm just going to return. So right now I have the label of the button that has been tapped. So let me just switch on that. So switch label, all right, and just write as the following. So basically, in case of section tabs dot tweets, I'm just going to set the selected tab to 0. Case section tabs dot tweets and replies, I'm just going to set the selected tab to 1. Right section tabs dot media, right, I'm just going to set the selected tab to 2. Case section tabs dot likes, and that should select the tab back to 3. And whenever we have like a default value, I'm just going to select the tab equals to 0. So I believe this really this is really easy. Yeah, we just need to add the row value for this. So row value, right, row value over here and there as well. So as you can see here, basically, if the row value of the button that was tabbed is equals to the row value of the tweets, which is basically this tweets, we're just going to set the selected index to 0. That's what are we doing, right? So let me just run that and see if that is working. Right, before I do so, I just need to have this I don't see it's selected index, right? So let me just open a curly parentheses did set. I'm just going to print selected tab over here so that you can actually see that is working. Whenever we go to our profile, let's just tap on tweets, and as you can see here, 0, 1, 2, 3, and that's it. It's working over here. So that's it for this tutorial because it's really getting too long. I'm just going to finish this profile view controller by the next episode. So basically we're just going to be like adding some simple things, but we're going to be talking like a lot about animations and anchors. So basically we're just going to add the blue indicator behind under each button over here, and as well we can just add the button for editing the profile. So if you liked what you just saw, please hit that like button, consider subscribing to my channel. That's going to help me a lot. And if you have like any questions, just leave them in the comment section down below. And again, that's it. That was Amr. Happy coding and stay safe.